I'm torn as to what to mention, if I should mention this or not. And I'm like, I really would be, by just reporting what I'm able to see to give a very accurate sample of what I see. I think it is just a much easier place for benchmark in order to know exactly the situation that has erupted or is in uprising in some movement that seems to be, I don't know, very disruptive, but in a passively aggressive manner, creeping in, creeping up, being almost steered from behind, could have been avoided by taking very decisive, precise actions. But I don't know if there was just not enough partnership, there was just not enough incentive. It's unclear from my perspective of complete desolation and isolation in some form of like a quarantine, where I'm feeling the effects of all of this revolution that's taken place, not because I wanted to take part in it, but I don't know exactly how I fell into this crevasse or abyss in Bayside Station, New York. They mentioned something about a woman, which gets confusing because I live in something called a county of Queens. And then there's a woman somewhere which I don't know how to speak on other than what is fed through the machine because they're English words. But it seems they have their own pattern and expectation from being overseas, whereas here it's not a topic that is spoken on or of daily. It has not made, like, unless it's a special occasion, it really does not make the evening or morning news, and not even on a scandalous conversation, just in a teaching manner that this exists somewhere in the world. There's been there's been very little to none of it in my life frame. There used to be something called a National Enquirer. That publication just disappeared. I don't know why. I don't have in this New York, I don't know where to go to even find out what happened to it, where it was, what it meant. I mean, it really is like everything that used to work maybe 5, 6 decades ago and longer. It's like they just took scissors and cut all of that opportunity and that lifeline and sustainability, and they just barricaded all of those routes of finding out and being able to protect oneself and have one line of communication is all I wanted or needed. I don't even really have that. I've got some compilation hoping that the words that they say are not disruptive or disorienting or disrespectful in some manner, but I only have a vocabulary of whatever comes through on the way that they construct and describe something. And on that, there's been very few. So they say that there's something, this woman, Queen Elizabeth, she's been on the throne, which again I've read fairy tale books, but in actuality, there's been no teachings over here of what it means. And they said that she's celebrating something called a Platinum Jubilee. Again, I don't even know what those two words mean or what they're defined as or what it looks like. Just like when somebody, I've met people before, they said, I've met one in particular, he said he was with the military. And I am like, I am so impressed. I just don't know what that looks like. But I know that it's something impressionable, like to be respected. I was like, but I don't have words to, I don't know what to ask because I don't know what it looks like or how you're blessed with being in that position from onset, because I've been in such a dereliction or a neglect of responsibility somewhere between decades and between my grandmother, my mother, and myself, or my grandfather, my dad, and my appearance. There's something that shifted. I don't know where. I don't know if it's far away overseas. I don't know if it's internal. I don't know if it's a balance, a counterbalance of both. I really thought at the zodiac and at birthing schedules that this would be, especially with being painted, that this would be a lot easier to solve and resolve based on the fact that it's really high poly science and mathematics, which takes a skill of someone military grade normally. But that's even been withheld.
Incredible video. We do start this half hour with a milestone for Queen Elizabeth, celebrating 70 years as British monarch. Lama Hassan has more about the Platinum Jubilee from London.
Yeah, good morning.
And now this gets confusing. I had this conversation, talk about not knowing things. Tia Freya 1975 comes in and says, British means London. And I'm like, I was in London. I know they have a British flag. I was like, but on the map, if we went in a little further, I was like, it says the British Isles. But then there's Brittany, which is in France, which is near Nice on the south coast, I believe. Without checking the map, I'm not quite sure. But it's British Isles, and then there's Brittany. And then, I don't know, does that then cover Great Britain? Because I've heard that terminology used before, but I don't know what it encompasses, and there's no one to really ask that's an aficionado or a scholar of any kind.
Good morning to you, and what a remarkable reign, with Queen Elizabeth now gearing up to mark a major milestone, 70 years on the throne. That's her Platinum Jubilee, and that will take place at the ballroom in Sandringham. Now, the 95-year-old kicking off celebrations on Friday by looking at cards and artwork sent to her by members of the public.
Now, does platinum have anything to do with what's going on above my head with the lighting feature being like xenon level, palladium level now in the atmosphere? I know Anthony put up something yesterday about Horus and Set. So if the Horus position and Set were misaligned, and there was the birthing of the sun, it is on a timing mechanic of great importance at anthropomorphic and calcaneus to calculus with arthritis and arithmetic. I would think that someone at Platinum Jubilee would know about. I just don't know how to get to or who to advise of my discoveries in order to get it to the right person in chain of command or whatever. Because where I am, it seems it's of no great consequence or whichever since my arrival.
As for Sunday, the day Elizabeth ascended the throne all those years ago in 1952. It's a day of mixed emotions for the Queen because it is the anniversary of her father, King George's death. And this year will be a difficult one, marking it without Prince Philip by her side. She will most likely spend the day privately, but people here will get the chance to celebrate with some exciting events planned all year, including a special 4-day fanfare in June, and we can't wait. Eva.
Thanks, Lama. Now to Kim Kardashian and Kanye West's parenting
This
issues
is
making
the
headlines.
level
And it
of
may be familiar
headlines
drama
we
for
get
other
here.
families. There's disagreement over their daughter's presence on social media. ABC's Zareen Shah has more.
This morning, Kim Kardashian and Ye, formerly known as Kanye West, in a public social media war midway through a bitter divorce after Ye went after Kardashian for making TikTok videos with their 8-year-old daughter North without his permission. On Friday, Instagramming, "I need to know what I should do about my daughter being put on TikTok against my will." Kardashian firing back.
This is one of the most ridiculous conversations. I don't know why social media is needed other than the fact that the care for one's own ancestors and heraldry in this power dynamic shift has been so poor that they've actually allowed out some form of communication device that now you're able to speak your own words in order to plead for help. So I don't know what else to say to document just how dangerous, step by step, cities becoming or economies getting to the point where there's no jobs, and it's dangerous to even go out to like a tavern or a whatever with a group for one social event. So all of these questions of what's acceptable, what's not. How about this? The family dynamic is no longer in a stable position where there's a mother and a father and children and there's some lifelong commitment. It's been totally eradicated in this area. That's more sufficiently and expeditiously important than this whole social media craze over Facebook and TikTok and all of the other nonsense garbage that they're peddling, just as distractions and something to argue over rather than actually fixing what's broken. It's star 1978, star 8378, Nicole, Cattaruzza. It's Earth, Solar System, Milky Way, Universe, Galaxies broken. It's Bayside Station, Bayside, New York, 11361.